Hello YouTubers, this is your friendly neighborhood Theophage.
This is a video response to the forthcoming one, and his video titled, Atheists, There is a Good 50-50 Chance That God Exists. Double exclamation points on that so you know he means business. His video is about our old friend Pascal's wager. The forthcoming one feels that the wager is a good argument, and has asked me why I don't feel that it is. I could have simply put up some links to where it has already been dealt with, and I am indeed going to do that in the sidebar to the right, but I haven't done a video in about a week, and this might as well be it. First, I have to address the bad assumption of probability in the title of the video. Just because there are two options to choose from does not mean that the probability of making the correct choice is 50-50. Consider rolling a fair six-sided die. It's either going to come up a 6 or it isn't, right? Does that mean that the probability is 50-50 that it will come up a 6? Of course not. For those keeping score at home, the probability is 1 in 6, or about 17% of coming up a 6, and 5 in 6, or about 83% of it coming up not a 6. Quite a difference there. This bad assumption is also the source of all the confusion in the famous Monty problem, and I encourage the forthcoming one and everyone else to read more about that problem. Second, the wager is a poor argument because it falsely assumes that there are only two choices. Either God exists, and your believing in Him and following Him will get you the reward and save you from the punishment, or He doesn't, and thus it doesn't matter. But what if Islam is true, forthcoming one? There are Muslims who are sure that you, as a Christian, are going to hell because you equate the Prophet Jesus with Allah Himself. This is blasphemy and worthy of hellfire. Where does that fit on your 2x2 matrix? It also might be true that God is a universalist, and that all humans are forgiven and saved in the afterlife, whether they follow God or not. It might also be true that God is a malevolent monster, something akin to the Calvinist God, and even if you believe in Him and follow Him to the letter, you're still going to hell just because He says so. Or it could be true that God does exist, but He purposefully does not interfere in the affairs of men because He wants humans to reject superstitious and unwarranted beliefs. When Judgment Day comes, those who have used their God-given reason and rightfully concluded that God does not exist, that's us atheists, will be rewarded with an eternity of bliss, but the billions of religious believers will be in for quite a surprise. Now you'll probably say that all of these other options, including the infinite number of possible variations, are just silly and not worth considering. But why? Is it because you already believe in one particular view of God? And if the argument is based solely on this particular view of God, then there isn't really even two options, is there? No, there is only just one. Thus, this argument assumes what it is trying to conclude already. This is just not good reasoning. The forthcoming one seems to be very impressed by the fallacious argument from authority as well, in both his video and in his comments. In the video he says that Pascal himself felt that it was a conclusive argument and that he, quote, was one of the most skeptical philosophers who ever wrote, unquote, and who among us doesn't find our own arguments to be really strong, right? And he wrote in the comments for the video that even Stephen Unwin accepts the wager. Now, I've never heard of Stephen Unwin, but I will assume that he is someone impressive. But it doesn't really matter who supports an argument or not. Arguments stand on the strength of their logic and evidence alone. If it is good, then it's good. If it's bad, then it's bad. There's just no way around that. I'm certainly not impressed by name dropping. Finally, let's address what the argument is really saying. You should believe in God, specifically my conception of God, because it is the safe choice. Maximum benefit, minimum loss. But God is omniscient, right? He supposedly knows the hearts of men. Do you really think that God would be fooled by people believing just to be safe? As Jesus said in the book of Matthew, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Away from me, you evildoers, I never knew you. Just like every other theistic argument out there, Pascal's wager simply fails rationality. Thanks.